Hey Sweat Warrior, join me today for a great sequence designed to increase your flexibility in your hips and hamstrings. This is part of the flexibility series and I will be releasing other videos like this. So if you're working to getting into your full splits, or even if you just want to finally reach for your toes, this is the practice for you. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel so you get notified of new updates and videos. Roll out your mat when you're ready. Let's get started. Come to find your mountain pose. Take the feet together at the top of your mat. Roll the shoulders down and back. Find a nice tall spine. Draw the belly in. Engage the core. Take a long deep breath in through your nose and a long sigh out through the mouth. Deep breath in through your nose. Big breath out through your mouth. As you inhale, reach your arms up towards the ceiling, lengthen from the sides of your waist. As you exhale, we'll slowly swan dive down, hands towards the mat. From here on, you can bend your knees if the hamstrings still feel tight. Take a breath in, lengthen up the spine, lift up halfway. You can take your fingers to graze the mat or hands towards the shins. You can lift up a little bit more. Drawing the belly in, lengthen the spine, draw the chest forward. Exhale, folding down. Again, feel free to bend the knees. Just relax the head down. Inhale, press down to the feet, reach your arms up towards the sky. Exhale, take your hands to the heart, arms down to the side. We'll flow through that half sun salutation one more time. Inhale, reach your arms up, lengthening up from the waist. Exhale, swan dive down, hands towards the mat. Again, bending your knees if you need to. Halfway lift flat back, lengthen the spine. Exhale, settle the hands on the mat. Now, still in your fold, go ahead and separate the feet as wide as the mat, making sure that the toes are pointing forward. Give a generous amount of bend on your knees here. You'll take the hands to grab your opposite elbows, taking a ragdoll position. Now imagine bring your head in between your arms or your biceps so you can completely relax the chest and the head down. Maybe taking a few sways of your torso from side to side, left and right. Just breathing in through the back side of your body. Also starting to feel that stretch on your hamstrings or the back of your legs. Good. And from here, come back to center. Lower your hands down on the mat. Lift up halfway and lengthen. Maybe straighten out the legs. And then heel toe your feet a little closer together. Take them as wide as the hips. If you want to measure, they're usually 2 fists apart. So you can take your hands or your fists between your feet and go ahead and measure them. Now from here, your peace fingers or your middle and index finger will grab both of your big toes. Then hook them in with your thumb. Take a breath here. Again, lengthen the spine, maybe straighten the legs a little bit. As you exhale, slowly bend your elbows and bring your head and your chest down a little bit closer down to your leg. Start to relax the shoulders. If you can't quite straighten the legs out at this point, no worries, keep the knees bent, but just imagine lifting the tailbone up towards the ceiling. If you have more space with you on the back of your legs, maybe engage the quadriceps or the front thighs so you can elongate the back of your legs more. Again, lifting the sitting bones up towards the ceiling, taking a slight pull on the big toes, bending your elbows more, folding down as much as you can. Feeling the hamstrings, the back of your legs starting warm up and lengthen. Take one more breath here. Inhale and exhale. Bend your knees. Release your hands to the mat. Inhale once more. Lengthen up halfway. Exhale. Slowly bend your knees. Settle your hands on the mat. Step both of your feet back. Find your downward facing dog. Go ahead and bend your knees first in your down dog. As you shift your weight back towards the legs. Those are really some deep forward bends at the start of your practice. So if you need to pedal the feet, bending one leg at a time, you can do that. So in downward facing dog, the heels never need to touch the mat, especially if you're still working on your flexibility. It's really much more important to focus on keeping a nice long spine instead of forcing your legs or your heels to touch the mat. Now keeping the tailbone up towards the ceiling as much as you can. Again, bend your knees as much as you need to, but feel as if your heels are energetically reaching down towards the mat. We'll take a deep breath here, inhale, and exhale. Now in your down dog, take the feet together, and then start to lift the right leg up towards the ceiling. Now we're not going for squared hips at this moment, so feel free to lift the right hip a little bit more so you can extend that right leg up as high up as you can. But see here if you can keep the arms straight. You can point or flex that foot, maybe pressing the left heel down towards the mat a little more. Now bend your right knee, open your hip out to the side. Imagine pointing the right knee up towards the ceiling. And then maybe start to make circles here with your right knee. Maybe small, maybe big. Doesn't matter how you look like in this movement. Just find what feels good. If you're moving in circles, make sure you go to the other direction. Good. Again, lift the right leg up as high as you can. Now lift the left heel up. You'll step the right foot forward in between your hands. Find a low lunge, lower your left knee down onto the mat. Untuck your left toes, inhale, reach your arms up. Now notice that my left knee is far back and it's not super directly underneath my left hip. So you want to take that, maybe move your left knee back a little bit more so you have more space around the left hip crease. Hands to your waist or reach your arms up towards the ceiling. Taking a pause here. Now, I'd like you to feel some engagement here on the right front leg. Imagine the right foot pulling in towards you without it physically moving. So there's this contraction or shortening on the right hamstring. I know we've lengthened it so much already, so we're just countering that action by bending the knee and contracting it a little bit. Take a breath here, inhale, and exhale. Now we'll straighten out the right leg, lower your hands down onto the mat, shift your hips back, and straighten out the right leg. Come into a half split. If you can't quite straighten that out, perhaps some blocks or props will help you so you can lift up and have more space to straighten out the right leg. Take your hands underneath your shoulders like so. Deep breath in. And exhale, slowly fold forward. Bring your chest closer down to your leg. If you want to intensify this pose, you can even walk your hands forward or even towards the back. So find what feels good for you, where you can stay a little bit longer and where you can feel more stable. Take a long breath here, inhale. And exhale. Now walk your hands back if they're somewhere else. Lift your chest up and we'll re-step the right foot down onto the mat. Tuck your left toes and lift the left knee up. You'll step the left foot down in a 45-degree angle, coming into warrior one. Keep that right knee bent. Strongly reach your arms up towards the ceiling. So same as your low lunge, feel as if the right hip and the right foot are dragging themselves back. And then alternatively, bring the left hip forward so you feel much more engagement on the legs. Take one more breath, inhale. And then exhale. Now straighten out your right leg. Slowly lower your hands down on the mat. Again, if you need the props, you can take them with you. Step the left foot one step forward, coming into your pyramid stance. Maybe come up to your fingers, maybe lower the hands down. Take a breath in. As you exhale, start to find more length Lower the chest down closer to your left shin. So instead of forcing your forehead to touch or reach for your knee or your shin, I'd like it to feel as if you're lengthening the spine still. So kind of like finding a cobra or a cow pose position where you're arching the back a little, sticking the tailbone out. So you should feel more stretch along the upper part of your hamstring where the femur bone is. Take one more breath here, inhale. And exhale. Now bend the right leg, come up to your hip, and then we'll rise back up. Pivot on your heels and turn towards the left side. You can open your feet out much wider, coming into Prasarita Padangustasana. Making sure that the toes are all pointing the same direction. Hands to your hips first, inhale up to lengthen. As you exhale, slowly bring the chest down. Maybe just halfway. Maybe all the way down as you slowly crawl the hands down towards your ankles, towards your feet. And then finally, lower your hands down on the mat underneath your shoulders. If you want to go deeper on this one, you can even flip the palms to face back and then start to walk the hands farther away from you as you guide your forehead closer and closer down towards the mat. Again, constantly find this cobra or this cow pose position on the spine. So you're not creating a C shape in the front side of your body, but instead lengthening the spine still in your forward bend. If you're not quite there yet, don't worry about it. Just breathe in through the sensations on the back of your legs, on the inner thighs, and keep pressing the feet down. Hugging the inner thighs in, which will help you with your balance. Now, if you're down on your head, slowly walk your hands back underneath your shoulders. Lift your head, lifting up halfway. Take your hands to your hips, and then slowly stand back up. Now turn the left toes out towards the back of the mat. Bend your left leg a lot as you come into this side squat. Making sure that the right toes are pointing up towards the ceiling. Now, if your left heel doesn't want to go down onto the mat, that's perfectly fine. You can actually stay here. Or if you have a box or a water bottle or a prop they can use to lift you up, that would be great as well. Otherwise, if you're able to lower your heel down, maybe try to take your hands in prayer in front of your chest. Keep pressing down through that left foot. Feeling the stretch on that right inner thigh, especially on the hamstring. This takes so much work as well, especially if you're tight on the hamstring or the calf muscles. So just take it easy wherever you may be. On your next breath, lower your hands down onto the mat. Lift yourself back up. And you'll walk your hands back towards the front. Pivot on your heels. And we'll come back into a downward facing dog. Now just start to notice difference on both of your legs. I'm sure that's a lot of difference already with the right compared to the left side. So if you need to, again, just feel the legs out. Bend the knees, sway the hips from side to side. Or just simply stay still and observe your legs. Let's take to the left side. Take the feet together. Lift the left leg up. Inhale. Send the left hip up much higher. Maybe point, maybe flex your foot up towards the ceiling. Keep your gaze towards the back. Maybe start to press the right heel down somewhere to the mat. And then open the hip out to the side by bending the left knee. Imagine kicking your right bum with the left heel. Again, making small circles or big circles with that left knee. Just opening up that hip. Hip flexibility and hamstring flexibility are a really big factor, especially if you're working on your full splits. So keep doing this, and you'll see results in no time. Now shift forward into your plank. Draw the left knee in towards your chest. Step the left foot forward. Lower the right knee down. Untuck your left toes. Again, coming into your low lunge. Reach arms up. Feeling that space again around the front right hip. Draw the thighs in towards each other. Feel as if the legs are like scissors, squeezing in towards each other. Contracting and engaging again that left hamstring. One more breath, inhale. And exhale. Lower your hands down onto the mat. Send the hips back. And then straighten out this left leg. What usually helps me to straighten this out a little more is that I just wiggle my left heel forward until the left leg comes straight and the right toes come up. Walk your hands back underneath your shoulders. Lift the chest up halfway. Exhale, slowly folding down. So really important factor to maximize your half split is to press the left heel down and then bring this pinky toe side of your foot closer towards your face. So it's not just the big toe side that you're pulling in, but equally on both sides of your foot. This also activates the outer part of your hamstring, which rarely gets the stretch during our forward bends. On your next breath, start to lift back up. Re-step your left foot down onto the mat. Tuck your right toes and you'll lift the right knee up. Prepare for warrior one. Step the right heel down. Press down through both feet. Reach your arms up. Keep drawing the belly in. Again, activation on the legs. Squeeze the inner thighs in as if you have an imaginary block in between both legs. Keep pressing down through both feet. Take one more breath, inhale. And then exhale. Lower the hands down onto the mat. Coming into pyramid pose, step the right foot one step forward, and then both heels down onto the mat. The left toes pointing forward. The right toes may be at an angle. You want to square out both hips here again just to maximize the stretch. Pulling the left hip back and the right hip forward. Still squeezing both thighs. And then exhale, fold forward, finding your maximum. Now for me, this is my tighter side that after years and years of practicing, I'm still not quite there yet. And that's perfectly fine. Know that no two sides are ever the same. And that's why we're here. That's why we're practicing, is to hopefully bring some balance on both of our side bodies. Now slowly bending your left leg again. Take your hands to your hips and slowly stand back up. Turn both toes to point to the right side. Open your feet out. Now I will just turn so I am still talking to the camera. Again, taking your feet towards the same direction. We'll take another variation of our wide-legged bend. Take your hands to a T. Slowly fold forward as you exhale. Take the peace fingers to grab onto your big toes and then hook them in with your thumbs. So same thing as our forward bend earlier. Take another breath to lengthen the spine. Now as you exhale, bend your elbows towards the sides. Draw the belly in. Maybe use some bicep strength here to pull yourself down more. Maybe bring the top of the head down. And maybe finding your depth. If you're not quite here yet, that's perfectly fine. You can just stay with your hands to your hips or try this variation out but with bent knees. Keep the shoulders relaxed and the breath long. Take another breath here. Inhale and exhale. Wherever you may be, release your hands. Take your hands to your hips. Press down through the feet as you slowly rise back up. Now turn your right toes out towards the side of the mat. Bending your right knee, coming into a side lunge on the right side, and then simultaneously lifting the left foot up. Again, if you need to take your hands on the mat, And then keep your right heel up, perfectly fine. Or work on straightening out that left leg, pressing down through the right heel, hands to the chest while lifting the crown of the head up. We'll just stay here for around 2 more breaths. Again, breathing in through the sensations of your inner thigh. This might be a lot for some, so again, just breathing into it. On your next breath, lower your hands down onto the mat. Walk your hands towards the front. And we're coming back into our downward facing dog. Send both feet back. Pedal the feet if you need to. Shimmy the legs out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Awesome job. You'll look forward and then step both feet forward towards the top of the mat. Sit down on your bum and then just extend your legs forward and away from you. So much forward folds today, but this is really, really important, especially if you want to advance your practice, getting into full splits, for example, or other variations of that. But maybe also if you're just wanting to get more flexible so you can move better, especially in your daily activities. And you can just come back to this video anytime that you want to feel stretched out. So we'll take a couple more forward bends. Bend the left knee. You'll take the left foot against your right inner thigh. Lower the left knee down towards your side. Taking your arms up towards the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, fold forward, taking your arms to reach for your foot, or maybe just hands on the mat. Take another deep breath here. Inhale to lengthen the spine, and exhale, fold. If you want to progress into your Janu Shirsasana or one-legged forward bend, you can either interlace your fingers behind your right foot, or maybe grab onto one wrist, or maybe if you have a book or a block with you, you can also take a block behind your foot and then grab onto that block instead if you have more length. Now walk your hands back. I will just move over to the other side. Straighten out your left leg, right foot in your left thigh, right knee down. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, folding down. Again, taking any variations. Binding using a prop, or just simply interlacing your fingers behind your left foot. On your next breath, just walk your hands back so you can sit upright. And then we'll take our Baddha Konasana or butterfly pose. Take the feet together, knees out towards the side. We'll just walk our hands behind us and slowly lower the elbows down first. And then take your back down, shoulders down, and lower the head down last. Should feel good after all the hip hinges we've done. So just opening through the front side of our hips and just allow release into these parts we have just worked on. Maybe take your hands on your hip creases or your hip bones and start to just breathe into the spaces. Using your hands, guide your knees back together. Lift both feet up so you can hug yourself in tight. This should feel really good after all the lengthening in the back of our legs. So this tucking action helps to just counter all of that. You might even want to find your happy baby, lifting the lower legs up towards the ceiling. Massaging your back as well by taking a small rock from side to side. Now once you're done with your movements, find your center and then hug your knees back in towards your chest. Now slowly we'll just rock forward and back, massaging along the length of our spine. Start to gain momentum. So you can finally sit upright. Take your cross-legged seated pose. Maybe close your eyes. Take your hands to the center of your chest. Bowing down so you can end your practice. Closing your practice in gratitude, with kindness and patience to yourself. Thank you so much for joining me today. Happy stretching, and I will see you back on the mat real soon. Namaste.